I don't know why I'd tell you that was my name. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Lucas is doing good. 3 people are doing good. The other 12 were dragged here by their parents. Good morning. Do you want to play a game? Listen. You can go. Door's right there, Emma. You know what, Napoleon? Okay. Throw up the first slide for us. We are going to play Boomer Say What. Somebody, what is the age range for a boomer? It's 19... Look it up, Jim. Yep, they're just old. That's for sure. So we're going to play a game called Boomer Say What. I'm going to give you a phrase, and you are going to tell me what you think it means. These are phrases that were typically used by baby boomers during the teen years in the 1960s. Baby boomers, teen years, 1960s. I want to know, like, what year... We always call Matt a boomer, and I want to know how wrong that is. Is he just, like, barely off, or is he, like, fully, like, 2 decades off? What year were you born? So it's only, like, 4 years off. So, you were in high school with baby boomers. Potato, tomato. Give us the first one. Yeah. Okay, the first phrase is hacked off. Do you know what it means, Matthew? Do you know what the boomer slang means? Might be because... What do you think? You think it means this close? Oh, okay. That's pretty literal. Okay. Not Emma. I'm looking at Emma. Becca thinks it means to remove. Keely, do you have an idea? Cut it off. End it. Somebody use it in a sentence. I am hacked off. JD says I am hacked off. It's an emotion. Okay. What is it? Angry or upset? I think JD is right. Nice, JD. Is that what you thought? Okay. Give us the next one. You're a square. What's the movie where they call someone a square and they trace it and the lines appear on the screen? I think it's Grease. You're a square. What does it mean? Tell me. Not popular. Okay. Somebody else give us another guess. You're clean cut. Okay. What do you think it means, Faith? Faith thinks it means boring. Okay. You're not cool. I think all of those are accurate. You're not cool. Have you seen the clip from the Johnny Depp trial where he calls Amber Heard a squarehead? Officer Squarehead. Okay. Moo juice. This seems self-explanatory. Oh, alcohol. That's not what I was going to say. I was just getting done saying it was super self-explanatory, and Becca did not think so. Becca thinks it's alcohol. Milk. I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah, milk. Did you just say it's the same thing? It's really not. It's not even kind of. What a drag. Yeah. What a drag. What do you think? What does it mean? I don't think that's it. Somebody else that's not Keely. What? Becca says it's an annoyance. Lucas says a waste of time. Oh, okay, like a Debbie Downer. Okay, what is it? This is boring. Yeah, kind of. Give us the next one. Oh. A chrome dome. Okay, Lucas has a guess. A car. Somebody else? What do you think, Gavin? Epcot, and Gavin doesn't know. I think it means someone who's bald. That's my guess. I think it's a bald person. Show us. I guess. I also yell at servers in restaurants for no reason. Give us the next one. Got some scratch. This sounds like it's... I was going to say, this sounds like a drug reference. But this is church, so I don't think that's the answer. You're itchy. Okay, somebody else? What do we think? We're back here. What do we think it means? What do you think got some scratch means? What could scratch be? Shh, I can't hear her. Go ahead. Shh, everyone stop talking. What are you saying? Oh, you've got some nerve. Lottery scratch ticket. Money. Okay, tell me. Got some money. I like yours better. I've decided that's the right answer. Okay, give us the next one. Ain't that a bite? Some of these we don't use now for a reason, and the reason is they're dumb. Can I say it like John Travolta? No. No, I can't. No, I cannot. Do I look like the kind of person that has a John Travolta impersonation just like up their sleeve? No. Somebody else, what about this back corner? What do we think it means? Ain't that a bite? What do you think it means? Venture guess. Oh, okay, JD. Oh, JD thinks it means that was a good meal. Okay, Jimmy. That's too bad. Oh. Okay. Whatever. Grody. Give us the answer. Yeah, gross. People still use that one. Okay, are there more? No spring chicken. I have heard my grandfather say this. I have heard my actual living grandpa say this. I also can't say anything like Olivia Newton-John. I don't do impersonations. I don't know what about me has led you to believe that I do, but I don't. What do you think it means, Becca? Yes. I heard you, Lucas. Somebody else, what do we think no spring chicken means? I didn't hear you, Becca. What was it? What did you say, Becca? Say it again, Becca. What was it? Coward? I bet it was funny. What was it? Oh, okay. Somebody else, what does it mean? Nobody has told me. We don't know. Give us the answer, Jim. We don't know. Someone who's trying to act young but is not. Give us the next one. We don't know anybody like that. Barking at a knot. Barking at a knot. Okay, what do we think it means? How about way in the back? Hayden, what do you think it means? What do you think it means, Hayden? Just a guess. Oh, okay. I like that. Somebody else? Back. Undo. The back row guys, what do you think it means? What do you think? Somebody guess. Tell me. None of them know. Jim, what does it mean? What does it mean, Jim? Engage in foolish or futile. Hayden was right. Are there more? They never end. Padiddle. Last one. Oh, can you show us? Becca says it's a tap move, but she can't demonstrate. Okay, serious answers only. What do we think padiddle means? This is getting so out of hand. What do you think it means, JD? Oh. Oh, okay. What? I am? Oh, a padiddle is a predicament. Okay, Jim. Oh, this is so long. A game counting burned out headlights. Be the first to yell padiddle when you see a car with a headlight out. It's like slug bug, but with burnt out headlights. Okay, what a great game. Slug bug or padiddle? Oh. Interesting. Okay. I think that's a story I need to hear the full version of. Okay, welcome. If this is your first time, then go to the cafe and get a welcome card, fill it out, and you will get a free drink. Sorry, it didn't change up there, so I thought we weren't. Okay. Fill out a prayer request card on your seat if you have something you would like for us to pray about. If you have something going on and you would like prayer, fill it out. Matt gives those to all the leaders, and we will pray over whatever's going on in your life. If it is something that you only want Matt to know about, then check the box for confidential, and he won't tell us about them no matter how much we ask. Thursday at 6:30 to 8:30, we have... Thank you. I go every week. I don't know why I wouldn't know the day. Tuesday, 6:30 to 8:30, we have a group that meets here called The Landing, a support group, I guess, for anyone going through hurts, habits, and hang-ups. It's really just for any of the junk going on in your life. And we'll feed you dinner, and we'll have some worship, and then our group will meet. On the corkboard in the back of the wall, you can put up any events you have going on. If you have something at school or in your extracurriculars that you want us to come watch, then write who you are, what it is, when and where, all the basic information, and we'll come out and support you. Hume Lake sign-ups are still open, and we have a couple more spots left, I think. So if you are interested, maybe talk to Matt and sign up. And if you are ready to take the next step in your faith, then come talk to somebody about getting baptized. If you're ready to make a public declaration and let everybody know you're serious about your faith, then we can baptize you. We support 3 Compassion kids. Their names are Ian, Sa, and Wildy. If you came prepared to worship God with an offering, that black box in the back of the room is where you can drop that on your way in or out. And I think that's it. Let's get ready for worship. That was a lot.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, we're good. When all I see is the battle, you see my victory. When all I see is a mountain, you see a mountain. better life. There's a better life. If you've got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. We've all searched for the light of day in the dead of night. We've all found ourselves worn out from the same old fight. We've all run to things we know just ain't right. And there's a better life. There's a better life. If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. If you believe it, if you receive it, if you can feel it, somebody testify. If you believe it, if you receive it, if you can feel it, somebody testify, testify. If you believe it, if you receive it, if you can feel it, somebody testify. If you got pain, he's a pain taker. If you feel lost, he's a way maker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. If you need freedom or saving, he's a prison shaking savior. If you got chains, he's a chain breaker. Okay, so this next song we haven't done down here before. I don't think it's been done at the church before, but it's called First Love. So basically this song is just our telling God that he's always in our heart. We're always just there praising him, like he's always there for us, and just our love for him. And so that's what this next song is about. Returning to the secret place, just an altar and a flame. Love is found here in our sacred space. I hear your voice, I see your face. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. There's a table just for you and me. Break the bread and pour the wine. Perfect union, nothing in between. I am yours and you are mine. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. I feel my heart beating out of my chest. I wanna stay forever like this. May the flame of my heart always be lit. I wanna burn forever like this. I feel my heart beating out of my chest. I wanna stay forever like this. May the flame of my heart always be lit. I wanna burn forever like this. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. I feel my heart beating out of my chest. I wanna stay forever like this. May the flame of my heart always be lit. I wanna burn forever like this. I feel my heart beating out of my chest. I wanna stay forever like this. May the flame of my heart always be lit. I wanna burn forever like this. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. You're still my first love. You're still my only one. God, thank you for bringing us all here this morning to be in your presence and to love you and to feel your love and to worship you in this place. Just thank you for setting a table for us to sit with you and just to be with you. In your name we pray.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Matt. I'm the youth pastor here. I'm glad you guys got up this morning and joined us. We are in week 2 of a series we're calling Only the Young. And in this series, we're talking about things that are unique that you only can do while you're young. Because you see, there's some things that once you're older, you realize are only for the young. And I can tell you this, as an older person, I'm not a boomer, but I am an older person. Why are you laughing at that? Stop laughing at that. All right, so here's the examples, right? Some of you guys know I like Monster Energy drinks, and I can drink like, I had one this morning, that's why I'm talking so fast. What? I'm looking at her because she's laughing, and that's suspect. All right, I like, all right, see that, yeah, you can say that, I can't. I like energy drinks, but as an older person, like you guys can drink like 5 energy drinks and then stay up all night. That would just destroy me and like those kind of things, right? And I tell you this as an older person, like enjoy those things because trust me, one day you're going to wake up and like your entire body will be sore just because like you mowed the grass yesterday. And it's all downhill from there. Like it just gets worse the older you get. But seriously, I want you to make the most of this amazing time in your life because there are some things that you can only do while you're young. You know this, right? That's why you can get away with like, raise your hand, or maybe don't raise your hand if you don't want to admit it. Raise your hand if you stayed up way too late last night and still got up way too early this morning, right? See, only the young can do that. Old people, man, we got to be in bed early and on time so that we can still get up and be functioning in the morning. What about hanging out with your friends when you're supposed to be studying? Yeah, everybody does this. What about eating like 10 bags of Takis and chasing it down with 5 Red Bulls, right? Like, that would just, like, my gut would just explode. What about listening to music and going to concerts and screaming your lungs out so loud that you can't even hear the person performing? All right, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that does that. What about sending ridiculous memes to each other or dressing up for spirit days or finding time for small adventures like meeting up with your friends just to watch the sun rise or the sun set? See, the point is we all know that there will be a time when life is not like this. Right? And we don't want to acknowledge it when we're young because we want to think, man, this season of life is just going to go on forever. But in your head, in your mind, you really know that this season isn't going to last forever. Our friends won't necessarily live nearby, and our stepmom won't be buying the groceries. So for now, let's make the most of these days while we're young. Let's make the most of it while we're young. But isn't it true that we also use this same logic to do some stuff that we probably shouldn't do, right? We use this I'm only young once kind of thing to do some pretty terrible stuff. Like, I'll never forget how powerful I felt when I started driving. Anybody driving? Okay. Maybe, hopefully you're not like me. So I got my license, and those of you who know my story, right? My first car was a Vet. It was pretty impressive. No, it was a Chevette, Chevy Chevette. It was a 3-door hatch. It was a metallic poo brown. It was a 4-speed manual, 4-cylinder engine. But to me, that car was a race car. All right. I mean, it took a long time to get up to speed, but once I was up to speed, it was a race car. And I like to drive it really, really fast. And I would do like some sketchy stuff. Like my neighborhood, it was just this neighborhood I grew up in, but I would go flying down these residential streets and I'd like take corners and I'd like pull that e-brake and go drifting around the corner and like, probably. But see, in my mind, at the time, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was just thinking about how much fun it was to do that and how great it was to have that power of flying through my neighborhood and taking opportunities to do things that made me feel powerful. And maybe I did it because I felt like I was invincible, right? And I'm thinking that, I can do these things because I'm young. But see, I look back now as an adult and I realize how terrible of an idea all that was, right? Because I could have fishtailed out. I could have smashed into a house, right? I could have hit someone. I could have scared someone's grandma. Right? And not to mention, I probably could have and should have gotten in a lot of trouble for doing it. It was a terrible idea. And honestly, I have no idea why I did it. But deep down, I probably just felt young and invincible. I just felt like that was something I felt I had a right to do. And no matter how many times my friend told me I was like this terrible driver, or how many times my mom threatened to take the keys away, I just thought, oh well, like I'm only young once. Like I'm gonna live it up while I'm young. Put your hand down. This isn't a question in hand. This is where I talk and you listen. Now, like, come on. I can't be the only person that felt this way, right? I can't be the only person. I can't, not YOLO. This was before YOLO. I can't be the only person in history who's ever thought this, right? Haven't we all been there? Like maybe we aren't drifting through neighborhoods, but we say things like, well, I'm only young once, or YOLO, and then like we make our friends laugh by making fun of other people. Maybe we get lazy or just distracted and skip studying. Maybe we overload our bodies with caffeine and a lack of sleep. Maybe some of you are older. Maybe some of you are younger. I'm not going to judge. Maybe you get drunk at a party. Maybe you gossip about other people. Maybe you hook up with someone impulsively. Maybe you send pictures that you know could hurt other people or hurt yourself or your own reputation. And we do it all under this guise of, man, I'm only young once. Like I'm going to live it up while I'm young. And look, please hear me. Like I'm not saying this to put shame on you. Like if you've done any of this, trust me, you're not the only one who has. I'm just saying that sometimes being young feels like a good excuse to experiment. It feels like a good excuse to hang these things on, right? Being young is like getting a pass to do whatever you want in the name of living and learning. And I mean, honestly, like we're testing out a little bit of trouble. We can, at least for a moment, feel pretty powerful, right? Like when we're pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope of what we should or could be doing, it makes us feel powerful on some level. Besides, you're only young once, right? But what if there's more power in being young than just testing your boundaries? Last week, we started this series by talking about a couple of guys who lived a long time ago. Their names are Paul and Timothy. If you were here, we started talking about them. And even though they lived a long time ago, you actually have something in common with Timothy, because he was young too. He was young too. And by the standards of the day, Timothy was young when Paul, who was one of the most influential Christian leaders who ever lived, invited him to lead other people. See, Paul used to travel around and tell people about Jesus and how he died and came back to life. And for a while, Timothy traveled with Paul. And Paul mentored Timothy as a follower of Jesus and a leader until one day, in a town called Ephesus, Paul put Timothy in charge of the entire church. So here's this young guy, and Paul, kind of the Jesus rock star of the day, he puts Timothy in charge of this church. And this meant that people both younger and older than Timothy would be looking to him for leadership. They'd be looking to him as the guy who's in charge. And as Timothy led, Paul would write him letters to encourage him, to help him know how to lead well. And those letters are now called 1st and 2nd Timothy. You can find them in the second half of the Bible called the New Testament. And thankfully, you and I can read them, and we can learn so much about what being young can be like for a follower of Jesus. And I want you to check out this one statement that Paul makes. See, Paul makes this big idea that our entire series is focused on. He wrote this. And we talked about it last week. 1 Timothy, he writes, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, faith, and in purity." See, Paul understood that Timothy wasn't a leader for later, right? He wasn't in a like someday you'll grow up and God will use you situation. No, God had something incredibly and important for Timothy to do right then while he was still young. He's not saying, Timothy, one day you can be a great leader in the church. Timothy, one day God's got great things for you. He's saying, no, Timothy, God's got things for you to do right now while you're young. That's why he was adamant that Timothy shouldn't let anyone look down on him or set a low bar for him. Instead, he was supposed to set a positive example for other people. In order to help him do this, Paul wrote some advice a little bit later in his letter that proves to be helpful, like for us all today. Paul wraps up his first letter to Timothy, reminding him of the huge responsibility that he has. Here's what he writes. He says, Timothy, guard what has been entrusted to your care. Turn away from the godless chatter and the opposing ideas of what is falsely called knowledge. Now, there's been some debate about exactly what Paul was referring to when he says what has been entrusted to your care. But essentially he's saying, look, Tim, make sure that you rep the message of Jesus well to the people in the community around you. Make sure that the way you live, the way you lead, and your conduct, your personal life when nobody else is watching lines up with what you believe. Make sure that you're living and walking the talk, right? You have to rep it completely, even when nobody is watching. Make sure that you keep people focused on what Jesus said was true about life and about God and about what he says is best. Don't listen to the chatter out there. What did Jesus say about how to live? This is what you should be focused on. See, Timothy had this huge responsibility. And Paul wanted to make sure that he understood the significance of what he was doing. At the same time, he also wanted him to turn away from the things that could distract him from what was best. Things like godlessness, chatter, or things that people called knowledge, right? That are just really a waste of time. And just like there's so many arguments and opinions about what is best and what is true and what we should do with our lives today, there were the same challenges 2,000 years ago. There were all sorts of ideas about what the best life was supposed to look like. And Paul was simply telling Timothy to focus on what he knew to be true by following the ways and the teachings of Jesus. He was saying, cling to these things because we know them to be true. Don't listen to what the world says is best. Listen to what Jesus says is best. In other words, Paul was saying, I want more for you than just what's common. I want more for you than what this society and this world around you says is enough. I want more for you than that. Timothy, it wouldn't make you a bad person like if you did whatever you wanted with your years of being young. But I believe that God has something powerful for you to do right now. And what God has for you is too important for you to get distracted. He's pouring into this young leader saying, look, God's got something important for you to do right now. Don't listen to the chatter outside. Focus on who Jesus is and what he taught. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. The same is true for me and you. The same is true for us. Like maybe you've never thought of it this way, but God has a purpose for your time while you're in school, while you're a teenager. God has a purpose for you right where you are. See, God isn't waiting for your graduation. God isn't waiting for your marriage or your career to use you, to impact the people around you. God has work for you to do right now. In fact, the work that God has for you to do in school, you can only do while you're young. You can only do it while you're in school, while you're in this station of life that you're in. Because wouldn't it be wouldn't it be weird if I showed up at your school and just started talking to random kids? Hey, have you heard about Jesus? Let me tell you about it. That'd be weird, right? Like it wouldn't hit the same. Like I couldn't ever have that same relationship that you guys naturally have with the students that are in your classroom. The kids that are your peers. That's not my role in my station of life right now. But God has something important that he wants you to do while you're young. You're only young once, which means that these years of school are years that you can never get back. Right? There's opportunities that you have right now in your home schools and communities, on your sports teams, in your drama clubs, in the middle of your band, that you only have while you're young. And I highly doubt that God would want you just to wander through these years without experiencing anything significant or without helping other people in significant ways. You have an amazing opportunity to change the course of the lives of the people around you by serving them and by encouraging them. And if we're paying attention to Paul's advice, I think his mission is too important to get distracted by gossip or laziness or treating other people poorly or wasting time or living irresponsibly. Guys, we have a job to do right where we're at. And there's a job that only you can do while you're young. And hear me, this doesn't mean that you're not supposed to have fun, right? Not at all. I think God wants you to, God invented fun. He wants you to have fun. But it does mean that while you're having fun, it's also important that you remember that there are some things that you can accomplish only while you're young. You don't want to miss out on what God can do in and through you during your teenage years. Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young. God has things that he wants you to do that you can only do while you're young. But here's the thing. You get to decide what your years of being young will look like. You get to decide how you're going to spend this time. Here's what I mean. Give me some things, yell out one or two things that you spend time on now. What are some things you like to spend time on? Soccer, sports, okay. Sports. What? Hanging out with friends, okay. Video games, yeah. Sleeping, yeah. Yeah, all right, here are some examples. All right, walk with me. Friends. We spend a lot of time with friends, right? That bottle's kind of bigger. This will be TikTok, social media. This is going to be sports, and we'll call this one sleep. All right, so here's the thing. I Googled this. Hang on, wait. Shh. I Googled this because nobody has time to do the math, right? But I learned that you have about 312 weeks of life during your 6 years in junior high and high school. Now, these represent your 312 weeks. That's 312 weeks that you have to spend, and you get to choose how you spend it. So we spend a little bit of it hanging out with friends. Am I right? We spend some on social media and TikTok. Wait. Right? We spend some playing sports. We spend some sleeping. But here's the thing with this demonstration. You get to decide where you spend those 312 weeks. But the problem and the challenge of it is you don't get them back. Once they're spent, they're spent. And you can't recover that time. My 312 weeks are way, 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 way behind me. And there's nothing I can do right now to recover that time, to change the things I did, to take a different course or direction, to pour into people, to share about who Jesus was. There's nothing I can do to change the choices I made. But you guys are in the middle of this time, and you get to decide. How will you spend it? And what things will you pour your 312 weeks? The important thing to remember is you get to choose. And that may not feel like it all the time, right? Especially when your coach or your boss is telling you what to do. But ultimately, the story of these 6 years of your life will come down to how you spent the majority of your time. Maybe you'd rather spend more time investing in your financial future, so you choose to work more. Maybe your friendships matter a lot to you, so most of your time goes to hanging out. Maybe you want to build a habit of serving other people, so volunteering tends to get a significant amount of your time. Honestly, there are so many good things that you can invest your time in. Now, of course, we can so easily spend our time on things that might not matter. But But the beautiful thing is that you get to choose. You get to choose. You get to decide what your years of being young will be about. So, will they be about making an impact? Or will it be about something else? Will they be about taking your potential to make a difference, or about distractions that can so easily get in our way? You have more power than you might think. You're only young once, so really, really make it count. Now, by now, you know that these years can be really special. Some of you are closer to the end of your 6 years. Some of you are just starting out. But that's only part of what we're talking about today. If you're really going to experience all that God has for you during your J-High and high school years, then it's important that you take Paul's advice seriously and put his words into action. This week, you can start living the life that is uniquely yours while you're young. Even if you're not sure about all of this Jesus stuff, like I would guess that some of you want to get the most out of your life, regardless of where you're at, like spiritually. My guess is that you want your younger years to be some of the great years. So whether you're still figuring out how you feel about Jesus, God, and the Bible, all this church stuff, or if you've been a Christian for a while, here are a couple of steps. I want to give you 2 steps that you can take to head in the right direction. The first one is ask God, what do you have for me? Like, pray that prayer. Ask God, God, what do you have for me? I want you to spend some time thinking and praying, and like if you journal, maybe even journaling about what God might do through you during your teenage years. How might God use you to impact your friends, your family, your teachers, like older people, younger people, whoever's in your community, whoever's in that circle of influence that you reside within? What gifts has God given you? Well, what influence do you already have? Where has God placed you? I want you to think about all these things and ask God to show you how God might want you to use those things to make an impact over these special years. And if you're not sure where to begin with this one, like, you can talk to your small group leader. There's one now. Talk to a trusted adult. Come talk to me. I'm not scary. I promise. I won't make it weird. Well, maybe a little weird. But these leaders, the adults who show up every single week, they love you, they care about you, they want to pour into your life. They might be able to help you see some potential that you're struggling to see in yourself. And if you're not sure that you want to follow Jesus, maybe your first step is talking to a small group leader about the kind of life that Jesus offers you. If you haven't taken that first step in faith, maybe one of these adults could help you understand why that's important and the kind of freedom that Jesus gives you. See, Jesus came so that you could have the best kind of life possible as a teenager and also forever. What if this is really what God has for you? Like, would it be worth exploring more? Like, how could you not want to know more about it? See, whether you're new to all of this or if you've been a Christian for a minute, I want you to take some time this week and ask God, what do you have for me? And then evaluate what you're currently up to. The second step is evaluate what you're currently up to. And you can do this by asking yourself a really simple question. Here's a simple question. Ask yourself, how might my words, actions, habits, or friends be distracting me from what God has for me? And I know this one's tough, right? I know this one's tough, but it's so important because you have to be honest with yourself. If you're having a hard time with that, like, ask your small group leader or a trusted friend to be honest with you. Just know that no matter how hard it may be to be honest about where you're at, what God has in store for you is so worth it. He's so worth it. And this isn't about you feeling shame or never having fun or like suddenly dropping everyone from your life. But it is about you evaluating the reality of your current teenage experience so that you can begin to have the best teenage experience possible. Or better yet, the best life possible. So evaluate what you're currently up to and then begin to head in the direction that God has for you. Begin to find ways to serve and to love and to lean into those relationships that God wants you to be a part of. See, when you decide to take these steps, you'll be deciding that you want your years of being young to be about all that God has for you. See, God's not waiting on you to grow up so that you can begin to experience what God has for you. He's not waiting for you to grow. No, God takes you seriously right now. So does every adult in this room, by the way. We believe that your generation is the best generation, and we've already seen God do incredible things in and through every single one of you. We believe that He's just getting started. We believe you can impact your school, your community, your family, and us in incredible ways, not just later, but right now. See, 3 years of your life can be full of impact. There's some opportunities and some challenges that will only happen while you're young. So when you're older, don't forget what this feels like. Remember, you get to decide what your years of being young will be about. And as you head out this morning, think about this question. What do you want your junior high and high school years to be about? Let's pray, and then we'll wake Ryland up. Heavenly Father God, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for your word and the examples we find within it. Lord, I pray for every teenager and student in this room and watching online, that they would know that you're not waiting for later, that you have a job and important things for them to do right now while they're young, and that they can choose to make the most of the opportunities that you give them right now. God, I pray that you would help them to live a life that's radically different than the people around them, that others would see them and want to know what it is about them that's so different, and that we can point more and more people to you, that it's not about us, God, but we give you all the glory and praise. Lord, I thank you for this time in this place. We love you so much and pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So a couple quick things before you head out. Number one, the landing, Tuesday, 6:30 to 8:30. If you're dealing with hurts, hang-ups, and habits, come join us for that. Second thing, June 1st, we'll start talking more and more about it. June 1st, we will kick off Wednesdays at the park, and we'll have more information about that coming up. If you have any questions about Jesus, God, life, the Bible in general, come see me. I'll be hanging out up front. Other than that, thanks for coming this morning. You guys are out of here.